J-O-E in the place to be. HB on the track, it's like ecstasy. Rolling a well of 7 years, what we drink and be. Trying to sling the dopest rhymes in the galaxy. Let me take a minute though and relax your mind. Sometimes these words can be hard to find. 24/7 on that daily grind. Hearing voices in my head, man, they not that kind. Cause bitches be bitching, snitches keep snitching. The world keeps turning, and I keep hitching a ride instead of living my life. Yo, 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 yo.
Man, when you feel hungry, don't you have to eat?
Yo, yo, pump up the volume and digest this beat.
RapScallions in the house with this lyrical treat.
When we're done with you, you're gonna ice your feet.
If the world ends tomorrow and you had one chance,
Hey, yo, would you start to move like it's your last dance?
yo, do something small in the past and present changes.
Do something now, the future rearranges.
Cause bitches keep bitching.
Yo, snitches keep snitching.
The world keeps turning.
And you start living your life instead of hitching a ride. RapScallions. Roll.
Welcome everyone. This is Rapping with RapScallions, and today's show we changed the name to Cooking with RapScallions. It's season 2, episode 5. Is that correct, Joe? Am I
Yes, sir. It is season 2, episode 5.
I love it. I'm HP Tui. This is Jose Mosquita, Joe Mosquita. Joe, tell me all about your week while I try to share our wonderful post on everyone's Facebooks.
Hey, man, you post ahead, man. Because I got a lot to talk about my week, man. I got a lot to talk about because it's been a long week. Man, it's been raining hardcore, which makes driving around Panama City very difficult for all you Panama City drivers out there. From last Sunday when we finished our amazing show of our tour through, the Canal Zone. I think there was a massive thunderstorm later that evening, which caused a lot of difficulties for people around the city this whole week.
Really?
It's been a lot of rain as well. Yeah, man, just very busy with work, trying to make things happen, trying to stay active. I had a very interesting dream last night, HB. I'm going to share that. I'll tell you if there's anybody listening who is a dream interpreter, an interpreter connoisseur.
Connoisseur of interpreter
of the dreams. Let me know what you think and what you think it might mean. So check this out, HB. I dreamt that I went to prison, right? I went to prison here in Panama because I was writing a document, and you were there for bits and pieces of it too. I was. That's right, man. Shout out to you in my dreams. So I was writing a document. Yeah. We were writing a document, right? And for some reason, the information in the document included a line which was mistaken. It was a mistake. The line. It wasn't an official document or anything like that. We weren't like, laundering money or selling cocaine, crack, or any of that type of stuff. It was just a document that had a line on it that was mistaken. So anyways, we got put in jail, and we had to go to jail for like about a year, to like a dark, dingy, nasty prison in Panama. And in my head, I was thinking like, yo, I don't want to go to jail. Being in jail sucks, man.
When you have those types of dreams, exclude me, dog.
Sorry, man. But I was like,
sexy dreams is okay. Adventure dreams is okay. Prison dreams, not okay.
There was nothing sexy about it, man. And then so it was prison, right? And it was terrible and it was hard. And they were like, okay, man, if you don't want to spend your day in prison, we'll let you leave during the day. But the only way that we'll let you leave during the day is if you go to Kabul and fight the Taliban. And I was like, holy crap. I don't know if I want to go fight the Taliban just so that I can get out of prison. So then I was like, yeah, I guess I'll do that, right? So I'm in Afghanistan during the day, but I'm still sleeping in a prison at night. And I'm trying to get away from doing both of those things because both of those things are very bad for my health. So I was just like trying to fight the Taliban, and there were explosions everywhere. And then I would go back to the prison at night, right?
Yeah.
And they would say, oh, but you can't be in the prison without wearing a mask because of COVID. So I was like, holy crap. So now I got to wear a mask in the prison, but I thought we're all the same bubble. And they were like, no, we're not. We're different bubbles. So then they gave me a mask to wear, but it was more like a muzzle that you put on a dog, right? So I couldn't even talk.
You're rabid, dog.
I couldn't talk.
You're like Hannibal Lecter.
So I was just like, and they were like, you got to wear that. So then, I was going to Kabul And then I was seeing other organizations there, and I was like, hey, man, hey, let me work with you guys so I can get out of prison and not have to go to sleep in a jail every night. And they were like, ha, 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 ha. They weren't listening to me. And then all of a sudden, King Kong showed up.
What?
And he started attacking Kabul. So now, and he had an army of gorillas, like regular-sized gorillas.
Kabul, like
King
literal
Kong Kabul.
King Kong Kabul with real gorillas.
So he had his mind-controlled gorillas that were attacking the Taliban and the allied troops that were trying to like stop the violence, right? So then King Kong's there and everything's happening and all that stuff. And then for some reason I saw an iguana and some dogs and stuff. And then all of a sudden, like I'm in the ocean for some reason. I look out into the ocean and I see a large fleet of battleships, right? And then someone says like, oh, the Americans came to take out King Kong. So then like they're shooting missiles at King Kong. And then I was like, man, this is really stressful. So my day ended and then I had to go back to prison. And I was like, yo, I can't keep doing this. This is really hard. And then I woke up and I kept waking up and going back to sleep. And every time I went back to sleep, I was back in prison or Afghanistan, one or the other. And then finally I woke up and I was like, yo, I can't keep going back to sleep because this is not a way that I'm not getting any rest.
Yeah, that's not good sleep. Hey, Carina Manning is tuning in. It's good to see you again, Carina. She asked, Joe, what did you eat before you went to bed? That's some crazy dream.
Man, I have no idea what I ate. I don't know, man.
I have some dream interpretation, Joe, if you're willing to listen to it.
Yeah, please.
I think that you fell asleep and on TV, the news was on and then King Kong came on.
You know what? It's funny because I wasn't watching the news. I was watching Outlander because now for some reason we've started watching Outlander.
That's what caused your nightmare right there.
So I would have expected some people in kilts playing the bagpipe to attack King Kong or something. But no. I don't know.
Man, I mean, you had a hectic week and then I think that all came out, like your stress came out through your dreams. You know what I mean?
I think so, man. Thankfully, I woke up and I realized I wasn't in prison because in my head, I was like, holy crap, I'm in prison for real? What am I going to do? How am I going to survive?
I got to say, man, if I ever went to prison, I want you to be my cellmate, brother.
Dude, I got you, man. I got you.
Nice.
Got you.
Anything else to report during the week?
No, that's it, man. I'm good. Yeah. How about you, man? Tell me about your week.
I'm still kind of unboxing what you said, but as you guys may have noticed, I have a change of image going on here. I'm looking a little different.
Man. So HB is now a GQ cover model. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. He signed a multi-billion-dollar contract with GQ Paris.
Oh, this is my move. So I'm going to be working on a movie. That's all top secret stuff. But as soon as that movie comes out, I'll be able to tell you guys all about it. Looks like Joe is a little garbled. Let me press some buttons, Joe, just to make sure.
Is that the Taliban or King Kong or what are they doing to me?
Going on.
Oh man,
the gorillas are gorilla-izing your image, man. It's not cool.
Man, leave me alone, King Kong.
Okay, there we go. All right, I think that should have fixed it. Yes, you're right, Carina. I cut my hair. It's for a movie. I have to keep this image for next 2 months. Can't talk about it, but I think they did a good job. You know what I'm saying?
They do. Do you feel fresher? Do you feel like so fresh?
I feel rejuvenated.
Whoa.
It's like a whole new me.
Oh man, a whole new HB.
Whole new HB. In other news, I came back after I got my So Fresh and So Clean done. I came back to the interior, and me and a neighbor of mine who I've been helping out, we went and got our second injection of the Pfizer. And you know what? In the city, it took me 6 hours. And out here in the country, it took like 15 minutes. Wonderful.
Say word.
Yeah. And then like the second injection, I felt kind of dizzy. So you know what I did?
What you do?
I made some grub and I watched movies all weekend.
That sounds like a wonderful thing, man. What movies did you watch?
Let's see. I watched The Green Knight.
Which is that one?
It was amazing. It's yet another retelling of King Arthur legend.
All right, cool.
And
love me some King Arthur.
I think it was really well done. Oh, Michelle Quo's tuned in. She says, "Looking good, HB. Thank you." There's something right here on the grill that I'm going to show you guys, partly inspired by your Instagram post. Carina says, "Joe is gone again." I pressed the button, see if that fixed it. So,
is this the one? This is the one with Dev Patel.
Right.
Ah, cool,
Exactly.
man. Oh, that's fairly recent. All right.
I liked it. I really enjoyed it. You know, it was kind of out there, which perfect for me. And the cinematography and the acting was very well done. So I really enjoyed it. And then I watched Nomad Land.
That sounds so familiar too.
Yeah, it's where there's like people who kind of like they live in vans and they just drive around, and then like the Christmas season comes and Amazon hires them. That's how they make their money. So they're like modern nomads. They drive around. That was Frances McDormand. She did an excellent job.
Right.
And I really wanted to see it because part of it was documentary. Like the people she interacted with were real nomads and they were telling their story in real life. And then she had to kind of follow a script, kind of like what we do in improv or, you know, in the theater, where she has to move the story along for her character.
Yeah.
The people she's interacting with are real people. And that was just amazing. The editing was amazing. The way they were able to make a cohesive story about that. So I really recommend that one. Both movies. I think Nomad Land, everyone's going to like. It's a bit of a downer, but it's so well done. You're just drawn in the whole time.
Word.
Green Knight. I just thought it was great. You know, I thought it was a real fairy tale. It wasn't like the way Disney makes everything happy. It was kind of like the way the epic poems are written when we studied them in English class, you know? So there's some hashtag darks in there, but man, I really enjoyed it.
Hey, man, life has a lot of hashtag darks moments, man. And sometimes you just got to, I think that's one of the things Disney has done a very good job at, is making us think that everything is always happily ever after. And unfortunately, it isn't always happily ever after. So you got to embrace it all and just know that that's part of the journey of life.
Indeed. And, you know, just to I enjoyed those movies. So
where'd you see them? Where did you see them? Can we know?
No,
like got it.
the dark underbelly of the internet.
You went into the dark internet.
I did, but you know what? I did watch was
web,
Midnight Express with Robert De Niro, 1988, where he's a bounty hunter. Man, that movie holds up so well. If you guys haven't seen that in a while, he's a bounty hunter and he has to bring this guy back from New York to LA, and he only has 24 hours or something like that.
Whoa.
That movie, it's funny. It's not like slapstick funny. It's funny, like the interplay.
Yeah.
And it holds up so well. Like I watched it and I was like, man, this guy's young, you know? And then I saw that it was from 1988. I was like, holy cow, man. Definitely go and check out Midnight Express if you've never seen it or haven't seen it in a long time.
Wow. Yeah, I think I haven't seen it in ages, man. We were young scallions when that came out.
Youth scallions for sure.
Youth scallions, no doubt, man.
Yeah. So I enjoyed myself, you know, being able to chill out a little bit. And then, you know, like we had such a great show last week, and I wanted to bring that energy that, you know, we decided to do a little cooking with RapScallions because people were talking about recipes and nostalgia. So we're like, you know what, we're going to play on that. Now you guys can see that I'm sitting outside. I got my setup outside. Let me see if I can change the view. Here we go. Blips. I'm outside. You can hear the sheep. You can hear the chickens. You can hear there's thunder, but I also got the grill going back here. I was a little nervous in the service trying to get everything arranged, but I was able to cook up some. Well, here's where Michelle Cole comes in and Captain Andy comes in. I went to visit Captain Andy, and he had prepared lunch, Caribbean chicken, which is like a jerk chicken.
Delicious.
And then just yesterday, Michelle Cole posted on her story Jamaican jerk chicken. So when we decided on this show, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna jerk some chicken, and then I'm gonna smoke it over leña de nance. And this isn't regular nance wood. This is nance colorado. This is like the best one. So it's blackened, jerked chicken smoked over leña de nance. Let's see if you guys can still hear me as I pull this off.
Man, let me tell you something, man. Nobody jerks some chicken quite like HB, man.
I'm good at jerking, you know. There's one thing I'm good at, it's jerking. Hopefully the camera will appreciate what we're seeing here. It's bien castigado, as they say here in Panama, but it smells righteous. So I got it nice and blackened, and then there's like puro ahumado on there. I don't know if you guys can see that, but
Man.
wow. Let me put this away, and then when it cools off a little later, I'll take a.
Are you gonna give the people some mukbang?
They're gonna get all the mukbang.
Oh man, you guys are in for a treat, man. People have been writing to us left and right saying, "Hey, when can we get some mukbang? When can we get some mukbang?" So today's your lucky day.
Looks like Joe's all blurry again. Let me fix that. I don't know what's going on.
It's those damn gorillas, I tell you.
Those gorilla dreams, man.
Those damn gorillas.
I said, "Wow, your face is computerized." Okay, Joe, I hit the button. Hopefully that fixed Joe's.
Am I a transformer now? Have I become a transformer?
You're like. And Michelle says that chicken sounds amazing. Well,
man,
the proof is in the pudding. We're gonna have a little sample a little later as that cools off. But that is what I call a segue, Mr. Jose Mesquita, because today we're talking about cooking with RapScallions. We got all the secret family recipes. We're not going to be like, put 1 tablespoon of this and 1 cup of that. No. We're gonna share with you guys the things that we like to cook, that we learned from our granny, from our auntie, from our mommy, from our daddy, from our friends. You know,
from
cooking
life.
is a social thing.
That's right, man. That's right. And I think just, kicking off the conversation on food, HB, I think food and cooking and, especially like home style type cooking, it means a lot to people, right? I think it's moments, like you said, it's a social thing. So it's moments where we can come together with our friends, with our families to enjoy. So like HB, why don't you tell us all like some of your fondest memories of cooking, man? Like when you think cooking and making a meal, what comes to mind? What are your earliest memories?
Well, I mean, I love to answer this question. I'm very happy that you asked, because those are some of my brightest memories of when I was a youth, when I was a little young RapScallion. Everyone's like, "Where did you learn to cook from? Was it your mom? Was it your dad? I was like, everyone in my family was a great cook. My dad was good at improvising. Like he would just look at the shelf. He's like, all right, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And we've got some of this in the fridge. Boom. He'd make a delicious meal.
Right.
And from my mother loved to bake. So I learned all the weights and measures, how I was the one that had to sift the flour. I was the little kid in there like, oh, my hand hurts. She's like, you got to finish, you got to make sure that you have it all sifted and then
put in the work,
measure it. You do your work and you get it done and you be precise. And so I learned weights and measures from my mom. And then one of the great connections that I had was with my grandmother. And she was a naval captain's wife. So she entertained a lot. So what she would do when I went to visit her is she'd open up her recipe book and she'd have all the ingredients ready. And she would tell me what to do. She's like, all right, now go get the onions and chop them up. Okay, now you go and do this, and then we would make a small banquet. Not like a banquet, but we would make fancy things. And I really learned finesse from her. Like I learned you don't put metal into caviar. You don't make ceviche in metal. You make it in glass. Like all those fine techniques that you really, can only be passed on. So
yeah.
For me, cooking is very important, and to me, it's kind of like music. There's science to it. And then when you add your own personal bit of chaos, that's what makes it unique.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So if you play music, music is very mathematical. You play it mathematically. But in order to make it special, you have to add something of your own to it. And that's the same thing with cooking. You have your weights and measures. You have your acids, your base, your spices, your herbs, your proteins, your lipids. That's all science.
Yeah.
But it's not great until you add your little bit of chaos to it.
True that. And what we're like, a lot of events when people will cook large meals normally, birthdays, Thanksgiving Day, Christmas. Growing up, what were the specific days whenever massive meals were made? Or was it sort of like a common affair in the Tui household to have delicious meals on the daily?
Well, it was mostly weekends. Like the big feasts were, if we're going to grandma's house, she would have like a huge spread. If there was Thanksgiving, then we would have family Thanksgiving, and then we went home and had immediate family Thanksgiving. Like you had
Right.
the extended family, and then you had the people in your immediate family, maybe with some special guests. If they didn't have somewhere to go.
Yeah.
And it was always me and my dad carving the turkey. We
Mhm.
were in the kitchen, cutting, carving, doing the last minute stuff.
Right.
And somewhere along the way, people really liked the way that I cook seafood. So
right. Hey, let me tell you something. I've been there when HB has cooked up his shrimp. Can't nobody cook shrimp like HB, y'all. You guys might have seen some of our stories from back in the day.
Yeah.
And by back in the day, I mean a couple of months ago. We had a shrimp bonanza, a shrimp extravaganza. There was shrimp up the wazoo, man, and it was delicious.
It was delicious. We had a mighty, mighty good time.
Mhm.
We have some videos that probably aren't a good idea to publish, but we had a great time.
That's right.
I guarantee you that. Joe, Ricochet, question back to you. What are your earliest memories of cooking and eating and recipes with your family?
Yeah, well, I think similar to you, man. I guess on my mother's side is a strong Italian side, and Italians like to eat. They like to cook. And I think I remember as a youngin going to my grandma's house on my mom's side, and she would, whenever we go, whether it be on Sundays, normally we'd go have lunch over there. She'd always have some sort of pasta, but pasta made from scratch, right? And my great grandma as well, made from scratch, where they made everything, and they would roll the spaghetti to make, everything was made from scratch. Super delicious. Lasagna as well was always there, freshly made in the oven. And I have those memories, which were always really cool, because I remember just my great grandma, just in the kitchen, just toiling away, and they were always like, eat more, and just kind of trying to shove this delicious Italian food down your throat. And then I also remember for Christmas as well, my grandma would make these like honey sort of, I think they're called strufoli or something like that. It's like these honey balls or something, which are very popular in Italy, and they're these it's like doughy honey thing. And she would make them every year for Christmas. Every year she'd make them, like a sweet treat. And she doesn't do that anymore now, because I think it's too much work and she's gotten older. But just the memory of those things always stayed in my mind. And then when we moved to the U.S., in the U.S., my mom did most of the cooking in her house. And then I remember taking home ec in middle school. Oh, look at that.
They always come around when I'm cooking. I'm like, you don't want to see this.
Oh,
really don't want to see this.
Hashtag
Please
darts.
continue. Here's just
Hashtag
Margaret
darts.
Hatcher here. Wanted to know a little bit more about the Italian cooking that you were talking about.
Don't worry, Margaret Hatcher. We didn't cook any chickens. No chickens were hurt during the cooking of those meals.
Well, she's glad to hear that. She's gonna take her leave.
No, and then taking home ec, of course, which I think a lot of people do in the U.S. when they're in middle school, and then just kind of learning the basics on baking and baking brownies or whatever.
Give that anymore. They don't give that class anymore.
No,
I don't think so, man. I thought that was such a great class. I mean, you actually learned something in that class.
Yeah,
it's like some of that math that I learned, never used it. They should have taught us how to balance a checkbook. You know what I mean?
Seriously. No way, man. I remember home ec was the bomb. That's where we learned how to bake brownies and make grits or whatever have you. I remember showing up at home with things I had done and being so proud of myself, because it was something tangible, right? Something that, you put effort into it. They taught you how to clean a kitchen, things that you will use in life. So I think that really kicked off a love I had for baking, which I had for a bit. And then, of course, the different times in your life when you've had to live by yourself, where you've had to be like, yo, I'm going to have to survive somehow. I got to learn to feed myself. So I think it's always been nice. I don't cook as much as you do, because you're like the master blaster chef, Scallion. But
when we cook together, I think it comes out great. So
yeah.
Another thing I wanted to mention is I love going to restaurants with Joe, because he's like a very, both of us, we would go from a fonda to the finest dining, but we can sit there and really enjoy, like, oh, hey, can you taste that sage? Can you taste the breadcrumbs? And we both have a great time, like tripping on the recipes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think we posted a picture of me and you eating at the Wallace.
Yes, for sure.
Like, oh, you guys share your plates. I'm like, yeah, come on, get over it, man. Jesus.
hey man, there's nothing wrong with sharing a meal with someone.
Exactly. That way you can try more stuff. I mean, that's the way my family did it. I was like, man, I like this and I like this. And it's like, oh, well, how about we go half and half on that? And that way you get to sample more.
That.
Any more fond memories of your youth? I mean, I want some of those honey balls. That's what HB stands for, right?
Exactly. Honeybell Tui. I think we just found another AKA.
AKA Honeybell.
But no, man, I'm gonna have to make some for Christmas actually, just to see if I can revive that tradition, man. Because I just remember my grandma making that quite often, and it was delicioso, as they say in these part of the woods.
Hey, you guys out there, we're having some upload speed limitations, so if you see some of that pixelation, just give me a second to hit the button. That'll clear that up. No problem. It's just like cooking. No problem. We can figure it out. Man. Hey, if it's too salty, throw some potatoes in there. You know what? Too fatty? Put some acid in there. We've got all kinds of tips and tricks for you people out there, whether you want to make some traditional Panamanian cooking or some of our favorite recipes. We've got that for y'all.
I think we have a varied list of meals that you and I like to prepare on our free time.
Yeah.
I think there's something for everyone, yo.
There is. So let's kick this off, Joe. I think that one of the things, I mean, I know a lot of people who make their own ceviche, and once you make it the first time, you're kind of like, this is a no-brainer. It's so easy. But there's a little bit of a hurdle there, like it's raw fish. There's a big stigma to that.
Yeah.
The first recipe or tips and tricks that I wanted to share today is if you are kind of timid about making your ceviche because you don't know what fish to buy, you don't know what proportions to make, you don't know if it's going to go bad. First of all, I want to tell you is you have to try it because there's really no way you can screw it up.
Really?
But once you do it, you're going to be like, oh my God, this was so easy.
Right. Okay.
And then that's when you start adding your own little things. Like I like to add orange juice to it. Like when I'm squeezing the lemons, I add some fresh squeezed orange juice, and that gives it a little bit of sweetness that takes the tang away from the lemons, because lemons can be a little too tart sometimes.
True.
We've got a good question. Carina Manning is like, HP, what type of fish do you recommend for ceviche if you are living in Florida? Any firm white fish will work. If you're going to a fishmonger, that's the guy behind the counter, you ask him what he has that's a firm white fish. I've used, usually you don't use tilapia because that's raised in freshwater. You want saltwater fish because they have a lower probability of having, what's it called? Little freshwater fish have little symbionts. What do they call it? Anyway. Use the saltwater fish and not the freshwater fish. And as soon as I remember the word, I'll let you guys know. I've used everything from grouper, sea bass, sole, like the flat fish that has the two eyes on one side. That one came out real nice. But you can talk to the guy. It's the same thing. You need to be comfortable asking the person behind the counter because they're an expert. You're like, I'm going to make ceviche. And I need a firm white fish. And they're like, well, I have this, but this is on sale. And I was like, I'm going to try that one. It turns out great. The more you try things out.
Mix and match.
Mix and match easier. So any firm white saltwater fish, because I can remember the word. Freshwater fish are more prone to parasites, but the saltwater fish are less likely to have parasites. So if you are a little, maybe my explanation wasn't enough for you. So I call this recipe ceviche training wheels. This way you can go through the motion. Yeah.
Is ceviche in Peru prepared the same way that ceviche in Panama is prepared?
For the most part, it is. But the ceviche in Peru is often cooked less. Like they use the freshest fish, and they only toss it so that the outside is cooked, thereby killing any pathogens. Right. And then it's actually like a cevicheified sashimi. You know what I mean?
Let me tell you something, man. I've been to Peru several times in my life. And the first time I went, I had ceviche somewhere. I came back to Panama, and I had insane food poisoning for like 3 days. I turned
From
green.
Peru or from Panama?
I think it was from the Peru ceviche, because I had that the last day I was there. I was like, oh, Peruvian ceviche, how amazing. And it destroyed me. Destroyed me. And I had to go to a conference in Gamboa, and I wasn't able to go to the conference because I was dying. But that didn't deter me, though. I went back another time and I had some ceviche, and it was delicious. But if you had to ask me, though, I would still always prefer our Panamanian ceviche over the Peruvian ceviche.
I do. I like in Peru, they put corn. Maybe in Panama, they put piwa, and some people put green apples and yogurt. That's tasty and all. But you know what? I want the authentic. I want ceviche de Corvina. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt, man. Hey, walk us through it, my friend. How do you make your award-winning Honeybell Tui Ceviche?
Well, let's stick to the basics. You have onion. I like to create several sizes of onion so you have a little bit of different textures in your mouth. I cut some of the onion fine, and then sometimes I even grate an onion so you have kind of a mash. You have some nice onion juice, and then the rest of the onion, I'll cut it a little finer, and then I'll leave some bigger chunks so you have some nice crunch in there. And then while I'm doing all that chopping, I take the fillets of fish off to the side and I salt them. Very generous salting. You want to put a nice coat on there so they have a layer. Now, this is going to do two things. One, it's going to draw the moisture out of that fish, and it's going to make it firmer. And it's also going to provide the salt necessary for the ceviche. So kitchen basics. Salt is a flavor enhancer. Something like pepper is a flavor changer. So salt and sugar are things